Ladies and gentlefolks, welcome in. It is Wednesday night. I know I said this one was going to be Patreon only. I closed Monday's show with that knowledge or with that little nugget. Was talking to the Patreon folks today. Was totally expecting coming in today to do a Latavius Burnett breakdown. I've been promising it forever. And the only real footage and only real game clips we've got of him playing, a substantial share of the reps is against Cincinnati. And I tweeted about it today, but if you sat down for about an hour, hour and a half like I did today and just tried to locate what Georgia considers their star position, or we call the star position. I believe Georgia actually, had the name for it at Georgia is actually the money position, okay, who their money guy is. If you sit around and if you only try to locate where the star is, like I was trying to do for about 35 minutes of just watching Latavius Burnett, you'll learn about everything you need to know about what Georgia's trying to do defensively. You'll know what they want to do in terms of their coverage. You'll know what they want to do in terms of their run support. Heck, you'll even know what they want to do blitz-wise if you just watch the star. And I thought tonight would be a great opportunity to show you that all your questions that you have about Georgia's defense going into 2021, are they going to play two outside linebackers? Who's going to step up at the star position? Are we deep enough at the cornerback position? All of those questions that you have, I can promise you, based off what I see on tape and what I'm going to show you on tape, that Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning decided prior to the Peach Bowl that they wanted as many game reps and as many varied looks, varied is the word I was looking for, as many varied looks as we humanly possibly can, because there's nothing more valuable for a coach and teaching tape than the tape in and of itself. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to show you that whether it's, Kirby Smart mentioning Adam Anderson playing the star, I'm going to show you there's multiple examples of Adam Anderson do that. Whether or not we want to talk about, hey, are Adam Anderson and Nolan Smith going to be on the field at the same time this year? I'll show you that. Hey, Coach Smart mentioned the other day in his press conference that Trayvon Walker is going to be subbing in a little bit or replacing Azeez Ojulari in some of these instances defensively. I'm going to show you that, okay? So I'm also going to show you where inexperienced defensive back play will ultimately impact what you're doing defensively. I thought it happened to start the football game against Cincinnati, and we're going to show you some of those things. So tonight is really, and this is why we're public, tonight is a real educational, board session for people who may or may not know how, not only how complex Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning's defense is at Georgia, but how varied it is. How what they laid, the groundwork they laid in that Peach Bowl game is going to jumpstart them for this 2021 season despite the inexperience in the back end. All right? Everybody good? Everybody ready? I'm ready to grind some tape. Let's get right into it. All right, so we're going to open the game, and immediately you're going to notice that this, what I call inexperienced defensive back play, because that's what it is, let's be honest. This is Tyreek Stevenson, first career start here. This is Latavius Burnett, first career start here. Okay, Chris Smith's about 4, maybe 5 games into his career. Lewis Scene's about 10 games into his career in terms of a starter. And we got our one stud, our one, bell cow defensive back out there on the field. Quay Walker, first meaningful, real big-time start right here in this football game with Monty Rice out, despite the fact that he has been playing a bunch over his career, right? So a bit of an inexperienced group, the most inexperienced group that Georgia had on the field all year, bar none. And what I'm trying to show you immediately is what Cincy did to him early was they said, hey, well, let's go into empty formation. Let's get right into empty and let's create problems with as much empty as we possibly can. So that's what they did. And when teams go into empty, not only does it dictate you into playing man-to-man defense, it allows the quarterback to work with a bunch of space, right? It automatically indicates you've got one-on-one coverage everywhere, right? With a safety playing over the top, and you've got one-on-one down here on the bottom and one-on-one down here at the bottom. I think, opposing offenses, if they have the personnel to do so, I think offenses are going to do this a lot to Georgia next year. Because what offenses are going to see is, okay, look, they got defensive back problems, right? They got a lack of experience, a lack of depth in their defensive backfield. So what are we going to do? We're going to put 5 wide out there and hope and pray that more oftentimes than not, one of our 5 guys beats one of their 5 guys. That's all they're turning it into at this point in this football game. And I believe all they do is hit a quick slant from number 2 at the top of the screen. Okay? Actually, number 1 into number 2's window. Okay? That's all they're doing. Just let's get them on one-on-one situations. Let's run a little rub route, and let's get this guy open in this window right here. That's exactly what happens. Easy pitch and catch for the quarterback there for Cincinnati. But I showed you this to show you that I think this is what teams are going to do a lot of next year. Get into empty situations as much as they possibly can in order to force Georgia into a coverage situation where they can only rush 4, 5 at most, right? Which is what they do here. I believe they rush 4. As they go empty, Quay Walker drops out of the box. Now they've got a 5-man box, and I believe they rush the 4. Right? Our 5 blocks your 4. Let's get the ball out quickly. Let's get an easy completion. I think you're going to see opposing offenses do that quite a bit next year. Nice, easy pitch and catch for their quarterback. Now, this is what I'm telling you about what inexperienced defense does to you. Okay? These two standing all over the top of each other. I've told you guys for months at this point, safeties will indicate what's going on. If the safety walks over and stacks over this number 2 defender right here, this number 2 defender is probably coming, right? That's probably what's happening. So what I'm telling you is with inexperienced defensive backs, there is no pre-snap stem, right? Our safety right here, Chris Smith has not moved yet. Latavius Burnett is not really stemming yet. They are stacked right on top of each other. In previous years and previous iterations of Georgia's defense, okay, maybe pre-snap number 2 is rolled over right here, and maybe pre-snap, number 20 back when J.R. Reed was right here, was standing back here, okay? And let's say Tyreek Stevenson back when he was playing star for Georgia is a little bit more flexed out, right? It looks like a very small adjustment. But what I'm telling you is it's a major differentiation point for your opposing quarterback. It gives them direct indications of what's going on. As I'm about to snap the ball, it's clear as day that your butt is in cover 3. So what do I know? I know the issues with your offense or with your defensive game plan are right there. And if you have no one, and if I want to send someone into the flats, they're right there, right? The best way to attack cover 3 defenses are the verts through the seam, okay, and in the flat, right? Because the defenses are occupying these portions of the field. So you try to attack elsewhere. And that's exactly what Cincinnati does because he knows what you're doing. This Ritter kid's not bad, okay? He ends up just scrambling. Later on in the game, they catch him in cover 3. They know what's happening. And they hit this completion right here on the bottom, this little corner route. Okay? My note was when you don't have experienced guys, you don't get disguise. In other words, if you don't have guys that are comfortable enough to stem late into their position and into their responsibilities, then you have no ability to disguise pre-snap what you're trying to do defensively. Hey, they are this is the very next snap, right? We just showed you some nickel defense. The very next snap, I believe this guy right here, this guy's Adam Anderson, and here's Azeez Ojulari. So now they've gone back to more of a standard 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive backs. They are in a conventional 3-4. Now, why? Why are they in a conventional 3-4? Well, I see one tight end and I see another tight end. What they're doing is what we call personnel matching. Okay, and over these next 3 plays, you're going to get an example of exactly what that is. I think Georgia, and I think it was Alabama, Nick Saban talking about this the other day at a coach's clinic where, you can't just sit in nickel defense. Okay, teams, I think his example was Notre Dame. Teams were playing Notre Dame. Notre Dame likes to run, 12 personnel, which is 1 back and 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 1, 2, 12 personnel, right? That's what 12 personnel stands for. All right, Notre Dame was staying in 12 personnel. Other teams were just like, well, we stay in nickel. That's just what we play. So what did they do? They ran the ball down their throat. Georgia, Alabama, the better football programs, the better ran defenses, the more, machine-like ran defenses, they'll personnel match all day long. They got quality assistant guys up in the top, up in the box saying, relaying down through the headphones, they've got 12 personnel. They just ran 2 tight ends into the huddle. Let's get our 12 personnel counter package put in there, which in this case, in this football game, it was to get into a traditional 3-4 defense. Personnel matching at Georgia is going to be there still next year, no matter what. Okay, they're gonna still, if you roll 2 tight ends onto the field, they're gonna, guess what? They're gonna play 2 outside backers. That's what they've always done. They opened the same way against Tennessee this year at home on the goal line against Tennessee. Tennessee came out 2 tight ends, real heavy formation. Georgia said, okay, that's fine. Here's Azeez Ojulari, Malik Herring, and Jermaine Johnson all on the field at the same time. 2 or 3 really, really big defensive ends or edge defenders. Okay? So there you go. There is example number 1 of 3-4. Did I miss our example number 1 of Adam Anderson playing outside backer? We did. Okay, here he is. Sorry, I skipped right over his. When Kirby talks about Adam playing star, that's what he means. Look, they're still in a 3-4. They've been in a 3-4 this whole possession. Okay, he's here. There is no 5th defensive back. 1, 2, 3, 4. He is technically the star. Kirby out here trying to freak everybody out, saying he's got his edge rusher playing star. He's been playing star, folks. He's been doing things like this all year long, and pretty much his whole career. People just haven't been paying attention. And I get it. He's on the field to pass rush most of the time. That's all we're going to really be looking at most of the time if we're just watching the ball. Same thing here, personnel matching, right? That's all they're doing. They are personnel matching. As soon as they saw Cincinnati go back to 11 personnel, little test for the folks at home. I would test Dicko right now. I guarantee he wasn't listening. 1 running back, 1 tight end. 1 running back, 1 tight end, 11 personnel. Just teaching you guys some football terminology today, that's all. But again, since he went 11 personnel, guess what Georgia did? They went back to nickel defense. 5 defensive backs in the backfield, okay? Put a defensive end back on the field and Malik Herring, and left Azeez Ojulari on the field. So what is it going to look like in 2021? Well, this guy's gone and this guy's gone, okay? So I would assume maybe number 4 comes in and maybe number 44 goes here. 44 is definitely going here. It's a matter of who ends up replacing Azeez Ojulari when they want to go nickel. I would put my money on Nolan Smith just based off the way that they've been playing him over the last couple of years. Okay? It's all about personnel matching. That's all it is. Just teaching you some ways of the trade right now. I saw Georgia play a whole lot more zone coverage than they had really all year. Okay? And we'll talk a little bit more about coverage adjustments here in just a second. But I wanted to show you that clip about how, again, they're going about doing their personnel matching. Now we got the famous Nakobe Dean clip here. As soon as we get the wide clip, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so Cincinnati opens up in 22, okay? 22 personnel. What looks to be, it's actually 21 personnel, okay? 2 backs, 1 tight end. This is all in 1 possession, by the way, guys. So, yeah, Cincinnati pretty well coached, pretty well designed offensively, okay? 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 21 personnel. Now, what they're going to do is they are going to motion the tight end over here. While they're doing it, they're going to motion the back right here. Go 3 by 1. They're going to have 1, 2, 3 wide receivers by 1 with the running back to the right of the quarterback. Now, the rules for Latavius Burney, okay, he's over here at star in the slot. When 1 goes away, you shrink your space. When the second goes away, you've now got to flip and replace. Those are the rules. You don't have to move with 1, but with 2, you got to travel. So watch. You'll see him. He'll see the first guy move, and what he's going to do is he's just going to shrink just a little bit to now be the edge defender. But Nakobe's going to realize, oh, hey, dummy, look, they sent the second one too. That leaves you outnumbered. Now you've got to flip. So what you'll see is Nakobe will holler at him. He'll see it and say, hey, come on, you got to flip over. You got to flip over. You got to flip over. They flip him over, and then Cincinnati run stretch zone the other way. What I call this is, hold on. I had a good term for it. Occupying the overhang is what I called it, okay? If you've ever watched me play NCAA, the video game, obviously, you'll see me run. I run counter a lot. It's what we call an OP play, a very overpowered play on NCAA 14. But if I'm trying to run counter, okay, which is kind of a similar thing here, I'm trying to run counter back this way, it hurts me to have this free overhang defender in the alley. So what you need to do is you need to send some type of motion, or in this case, two types of motion, to occupy the overhang, put him on the other side of the formation, and then run your stretch zone back to the boundary. Okay, a really, really great play design, and great play design's awesome, but great defenders beat great play design when great players are being great players. Chris Smith is a great football player on this play, as is Nakobe Dean. Okay, Nakobe Dean gets outside, makes him bounce it even more, and Chris Smith comes down like a bat out of hell from the deep spot. Watch this guy. We're going to see him pop up a couple of times tonight, and really, I call it just flash. She's going to flash on camera and on tape a lot tonight as we go through this. Oh, I know why. We good. Hold on, let's watch that from the tight. I like watching 17, man. I really do. Just the kind of leader that he is, right? Just the kind of wherewithal that he has on the football field. Says a sophomore bossing around a redshirt junior, essentially, right there. Okay? So not your everyday opportunity. It's a great play by Chris Smith. We'll watch it one more time before we get going. No, Adam Anderson playing star. Oh my God, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. I've never seen anything like it before. Wrong. There he is right there. There he is. There he is, playing the star, okay, being out in space. And all they're going to do is, I mean, the safety rotation gives it away, right? We've taught you this 100,000 times. The safety rotation gives it away, especially knowing that this is number 19. So he's going to creep into the box pre-snap, and he's going to fire off the edge. Now, what you're thinking, I know what you're thinking. We got 3 over 1, right? We got 3 wide receivers over here, and we've got 3 defenders, and now you're telling me we're going to blitz one of them? So here's what Georgia does, okay? You want to play linebacker at Georgia, good luck. They're going to creep him, spike him, okay? Then they're going to take Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean, the 2 guys walked up in A and B gap respectfully on the left side, respectfully, okay? They're going to drop immediately and replace these gaps, okay? Watch how fast this happens pre-snap. Again, I'm just trying to show you that all these exotic things that everyone's telling you Georgia's doing defensively next year, they've been doing them. They laid the groundwork in the Peach Bowl. They did all of them. Every single thing I've got concocted in my head as to what they're going to do defensively, it's on tape. It's already there. Now, what I haven't seen them do, and what I do have confirmations that are actually happening, is to watch this guy, okay, maybe hang here and run one-on-one, okay, and actually send the house here, okay? I haven't seen that happen yet on tape since he's been doing this, but that doesn't mean he can't do it. This dude's an extreme athlete in Adam Anderson. I have gotten confirmation that he's running like crazy with some of these tight ends and wide receivers at practice. He is actually covering them in one-on-one, slot receivers included. So he's a freak athlete. We've known that since day one he got on campus at Georgia. 6'5", 225, 230-pound athlete that is a bona fide 4.42, 4.45 runner. So incredible athlete, fluid in space. Let's see him cover next year. Let's not always blitz him and have to safety replace and do things like that. See what I'm saying? Either way, an effective play, or would be an effective play, if Tyree Stevenson went out there giving up comebacks in cover 3. I do wonder if this becomes the norm, though, right? Is this guy, is Adam Anderson, does he provide more for you defensively than playing Latavius Bernier at the star? Or is it going to be like it is in the Peach Bowl where it's a balance of both? I think probably more likely is the latter result. It's probably more of a balance of both, but, you know, we'll just have to see. Again, though, shouldn't be shocking when your head coach comes to the press conference and says it, because it's there on tape. It's been there on tape. Y'all been watching them do it for years. Ain't nobody been showing it to you and paying attention for you. Don't worry. That's why I'm here. 2nd and 5 here. What do we got? I'll be honest. I've never seen Georgia be this predictable defensively. Okay, as things are coming set right now, nobody's moving. Nobody's moving. Okay, they are dead set. There is no pre-snap stem, nothing. They are sitting still, allowing the offense to survey them for a solid 6 or 7 seconds. Since I've been watching Kirby Smart call defensive plays and studying their defense, never once have I ever came to a clip like this and be like, oh yeah, immediately I know what they're playing. Where I can right now, by God, yes I can. Look at his eyes. You think he's fooling anybody that he's in man-to-man coverage? Or are his eyes locked inside? His butt might as well be turned to the sideline. Done. He's got deep quarters, no doubt about it. Now, our boy Tyson Campbell is an absolute OG out here. He's a veteran. He's got his shoulder square. He ain't giving it away. But by God, as soon as the ball snap, he's out. We got one safety on the hash. He's out. We got one safety hanging out on here. He's out. It looks like quarters curl flat all day. Curl flat all day. You got this bubble. You got this bubble. I promise you, I am not a coverage savant. But this shouldn't happen at Georgia. And what happened is Cincinnati started moving the ball on them. They're a little bit tired. All the pre-snap disguising goes away. We just got to line up and play football. Have you ever heard a coach talk about that? We just got to line up and play football. Well, what they're talking about is the game plan, what they need to be doing, X's and O's wise, schematically, they can't do because they can't execute it, right? They can't mentally get over the hurdle and execute what they're trying to do, execute the game plan. So we got to get back to the basics. We got to get back to playing football. Well, that's what that is. That is giving 5 whole seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. 5 whole seconds to a junior quarterback who, as of right now in 2022, looks to be a future first-round draft pick in Desmond Ridder. I was shocked too. But everyone's talking about this dude's going to be high on people's boards next year in the NFL draft. Okay? When you pre-snap, tell him, I'm going to sit and cover 4. I'm not going to move. Guess what he's going to do? He's going to find the hole. And by God, look, there's the hole. The hole's clear as day. Okay? We know that if he's dropping here, he's dropping here, he's dropping here, he's dropping here, he's got curl to flat. These 2 guys are dropping here. Where's the obvious void? The obvious void is right there. And that's exactly where they hit. Touchdown. Okay? When you give mental and cerebral assassins like most 95% of college football quarterbacks are, when you give them predetermined looks, when you tell them what you're going to do, you're in trouble. Okay? I don't care how talented you are in trouble. So I think that's the stuff they're working on right now. They're working on cleaning all that up, getting everybody comfortable, getting everybody to have the ability to stem where and when they want to. Okay? And not giving up predetermined looks. I mean, this QB knows Ridder knows where the window is automatically. Look where he locks his eyes post-snap. Okay? If I can get it paused. Look where this dude locks his eyes. He ain't even looking at no other window than this window right here that we showed and drew for you. Okay? No other window. No hesitation at all. He's waiting for it to clear out, and as soon as it does, by God, I'm going to rip a laser beam, and we're going to score a touchdown. It's too easy. It's too easy, and it's all because there's no disguise. Okay? Now, granted, the drops could have been better for some of the linebackers. That's all good. But it all, to me, starts with not having the ability, to disguise coverage. Now, we talked about 19, right? Let's talk a little bit about Brittany, who I was originally going into tonight's session thinking about or watching. What I do like about Latavius is I don't see him get stuck too often. This is a very, very tough assignment. Okay, let's run it back to the top, and I'll show you exactly what they're going to do. Okay, they are going to start out in 2x2, motion number 1, put him as number 2. Okay, and then I believe, which ultimately causes Tyson to roll over and Latavius to bump back inside, and I believe they're going to run some type of out and up from number 2, hoping that they get a rub. And what you're going to notice is Latavius, and we've shown you this from clips of, I believe it was Chris Smith against Auburn to start the football game. When they try to rub you, right, when they try to do stuff like this, What you cannot do is get clipped by this number one wide receiver. You've got to avoid and do everything you can to avoid, and he does a great job right there. Do you see how he's got that ability? Now, it looks like he's got the wide receivers created separation on him, but they've created separation just based off of play design, okay? It's really, really tough to have your eyes locked inside like he's supposed to have. He's supposed to have eyes on cue during zone coverage drops. Once he realizes that, oh, shoot, they're rolling my way, I got to get my eyes back on my drop, and I've now got to avoid this guy, which means I got to take this route to where we're going. And watch how quickly he does exactly that. Okay, avoids the bump, avoids the rub, and gets out there. Ball's a little bit misthrown thanks to the pressure, and it's an incomplete pass. But I like that he didn't get stuck, right? I liked it. I thought Cincy, if you're just watching, right, watch what the coverage, or watch what the motion does to Tyson. Okay, Tyson doesn't keep his shoulders square and roll over number two and sit like this, right? He doesn't. He turns and he walks back into where his cover three drop is going to be. So he's dead key giveaway, cover three. Dead key giveaway. I'm dropping. There's the roll, okay? Safety roll, middle of the field. Tyreek Stevenson hanging back there. Tyson hanging in cover three. We told you. Where's the place to attack in cover three? The flats and the verticals. Look where they're attacking. They are absolutely attacking where you need to be. How do they know? How do they know going into the snap where to attack and where to run your routes? Giving everything predetermined, right? You're giving too many hints away pre-snap of what you're trying to do defensively. See what we got here. Oh, another example of our boy Adam Anderson on the field in the star role, if you want to call it that. They are in a real, wholesome, true 3-4. 1 linebacker, 2 linebacker, 3 linebacker, 4. Okay? 3 down linemen. By the way, I do solely suggest this is what they run next year. Okay? 100%. I suggest they just do this. Okay? Because now we can roll with 4 DBs instead of 5. If you've got 5 DBs on that roster at Georgia that you trust, that's fine. That's your prerogative. That's fine. I trust Adam Anderson a bit more than I would, let's say, like David Daniel. Going to be a great player for Georgia. Probably isn't going to be ready in September if an injury were to occur. Okay? Which, that's the reality. Chris Smith goes down tomorrow. David Daniel or Major Burns is starting at the University of Georgia against Clemson.
Jermaine Burton went down right after Georgia.
Exactly. I mean, like, it's a major concern, guys. Depth at the defensive backfield is a major concern, which is why I think they might make more than one move in the portal. A little nugget right there on live television for you. But this is what you got to do, right? If you're going to play 4 defensive backs against what appears to be a 3-by-1 nub set, right? 1, 2, 3, nub set to the boundary. Okay? If you're going to run 4 defensive backs and not play nickel against this formation, you're going to have to play zone, which means you're going to have to get to good quarterbacks before they make a decision and find your weakness in the zone, and that's what Georgia did. On this specific play, that's what they did. They got home on this play right here. But I think this is what the future looks like for Georgia, okay? A brief look into the future. Going to 842. They snuck this one in on me on 842. Check this out. Okay? Check this out. Amir Speed. Latavius Burney. Christopher Smith. Lewis Seen. Tyson Campbell. Tyreek Stevenson. 6 DBs. 6 DBs on the field, okay? With 1 edge rusher in Adam Anderson, 2 edge rusher, and I believe that looks like Azeez Ojulari. Can't quite tell. Tough angle. Actually, I think it might be Robert Beal. down there because he gets absolutely stuffed, if I remember correctly. He tries to hit him with that speed rush. Oh, yeah, he gets flattened. Yeah, it is Robert Beal. We got a super chatter?
Yes, sir.
Let's address it. Can you put it on the board for everybody?
Yeah, I got you.
We got a super chat, first super chat of the night. Dicko, read it for me.
Jermaine Dunbar Trucking Inc. says, got to show some love. Keep up the great work.
I appreciate you. You said Jermaine Trucking?
Jermaine Dunbar Trucking.
Jermaine Dunbar Trucking. I appreciate the support and the super chat for tonight. Hit me up after the show. Find me on social. We'll get you something, okay? Whether it's, you know, some minor merch, whether it's a sticker, I got, you know, maybe a t-shirt laying around or something. We'll get you something. I appreciate you and appreciate the support and love for the show. Back to the film study. I mean, when I tell you that Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning were absolutely in their bag for this football game, they were in their bag, okay? And nobody on this field right now, apart from this guy and this guy, are gone. They're all back. He's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. Guess who's back? 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 Okay? They're 9 for 11 right now on this football field. They very well could do this next year if they wanted to. I've always loved what Georgia does with this. Right now, I would consider, technically, this is the star, but this is the dime, right? That's that 6th defensive back. And I've always loved what they do with him. All they do is they tell him to open his shoulders to the field where the 3x1's coming, find whoever's pushing vertical over the middle of the field, flip your hips, and run with him, get in phase. And that's exactly what they do right here. Watch Tyreek. Watch this guy. Okay? In his bag, he wanted to see everything on tape during this football game. He was not leaving this football field without having seen everything he needed to going into this offseason schematically. He wanted it all. All right, so we've shown you nickel. We've shown you dime. We've shown you traditional 3-4, okay, where they have 2 outside linebackers on the field and 4 defensive backs. Well, what's another option? Kirby's in his bag. You're telling me Lanning's in their bag. What's the other option? Well, how about playing 2 outside linebackers and the nickel defender? How about playing 2 outside linebackers and the star defender? That's exactly what happens here. We got Adam Anderson. We got Azeez Ojulari. We got Latavius Burnett. Okay? A true traditional 4-2. These guys are basically playing defensive ends. They're not even OLBs. They're defensive ends in this case. Okay? This is no different than running a 4-2-5. Just a little bit more convenient. Typically, Georgia's been living in this, typically for years. This is number 10. Okay? What's the result? The result's a little speed out. Probably got to close a little bit of ground. The other thing I noticed Georgia's doing, and maybe it's because I have watched the star position closely for a long time because I'm fascinated with it, but they started cocking this angle a whole lot with Burnett in there. I don't know if they didn't trust his ability to close ground on inside breaking routes or whatever it was. Maybe they found a tendency where Cincinnati likes to run, shallow routes from number 2. I don't know what the deal was, but they started cocking him a lot in this football game. Let's get a little Chris Smith flashage. Chris Smith flash, okay? Little Chris Smith flash. We got Latavius Burnett and Chris Smith right here. Now, this ball is going to end up over here near the number, and I just want y'all to watch 29 on this play. Everybody watch this dude right here, and I want you to see the closing speed that this dude shows on tape. I know we did our Chris Smith tape a couple weeks back, but that right there, okay, and I'll try to pause it my best for you, from this moment right here, once he clears this defender, watch him sniff this area and this space out and get there immediately. Who, by the way, our curl flat defender in Latavius Burnett, he's right there to make a play too, except Chris Smith gets there first. Boom. That's a flash play. That's what being explosive and fast on tape looks like right there. Not really an answer about as to how they're going to handle things next year. But, again, like I said, maybe back in the day, they would leave these guys in one-on-one situations. Allow Richard, right back when Richard LeCount was playing safety and they had solid, dependable defensive back play, maybe they would allow him to just free roam and it would end up in an interception, right? That's no longer. Now they're going to sit back in zone. They're going to take Tyreek, put him in cover 3. You know, he'll be the buzz defender, okay? They'll take him in cover 3. He's got curl to flat, okay? Our buzz defender right here is just creaking down into the open field while we spin the safety back to the middle of the field, okay? There's the safety rolling on the backside, and there he is rolling post snap. Make sure, I'm not saying they're really predictable, but they are a lot more than they used to be, okay? Can you still win that way? Can you still wreak havoc? Yeah, Cincinnati had problems moving the ball for a large portion of this football game. $14:43. We're doing pretty good on time, right, Dicko?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 14:43. Hey, Latavius Burnett looks kind of sticky right here, right? Watch him. Looks kind of sticky. Georgia fans have told me for years that, you know, Mark Webb was a liability in coverage. Tyreek Stevenson this year, liability in coverage. That guy looks like he can cover pretty well. And Burnett, he's big too, big and physical. We'll see that on a couple clips here in a minute when he shuts down screen passes. But even though Georgia's got inexperienced DBs on the field, they're not going to stray away from what they do, which is what they do in goal line situations is they are a cover 1 or cover 0 football team. What does that mean? That means we're going to man up. We're going to put man-to-man coverage on everybody and leave one single high safety roaming around, or we're going to play cover 0, leave everybody in man-to-man, and bring the safety. They are going to send 5 at least, maybe 6, sometimes even 7 in these situations on the goal line. It's their MO. It's what they do. Right now, there you go. See, firing both linebackers, dropping Nolan Smith as a spy, and they get Ritter on the run. Great play by all involved. Great play by all involved. Again, I'm not used to watching Georgia tape and coming out here and seeing 3-by-1 and seeing a star defender absolutely cock turn sideways. It's an absolute, it's a dead giveaway of what you're doing defensively. Nobody in their right mind is playing man defense cock turn sideways like that. They're not. Oh, and guess what? We also got our corner completely giving away everything. Oh, what do you got? Oh, he's got deep thirds. No doubt about it. Safety ain't moved off the hash. Well, he's probably got quarters. Safety ain't moved off the hash. He's probably got quarters. Oh, and maybe they leave that on man-to-man, but I bet he's got quarters. When you get like this, it makes you really, really predictable. Oh, and then whoops. And then your safety, your corners want to bail, right? Then your corners want to bail pre-snap because they're worried. They're about to get beat. Watch Tyson at the bottom bail pre-snap. He's already moving. Whoop. Cover 4 all day long. Cover 4 all day long. And again, for the longest time watching Georgia tape, could never figure out what they were doing. Ever. Could never figure out what they were doing coverage-wise. And it concerned me so much so that I really had to study what defensive coverages look like. I turned on the Cincy tape after 2 years of being absolutely mystified by what Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning are doing in their back end coverage-wise. And it looks, as standard and basic as can be defensively. Still got the job done, but it's really, really predictable, right? Little coaching point here. I love that Georgia does this, okay? I think Georgia does some really, really smart things. Early on in football games at home, they motion defensive linemen. You see on 3rd and 2s all the time, 3rd and 2 all the time. You will see offenses come to the line and they will be on what we call freeze, which that's the play call in the huddle. It is freeze on one or freeze on freeze, freeze on freeze. Ready? Break. You go to the line of scrimmage and you say anything you want. Nobody is to move. Okay, this is a freeze play. Or this is a run play on 2 or 3. Well, watch Quay Walker, okay? I ain't going to say this is cheating, but watch Quay Walker. Watch his body. Watch his body as this play starts to move, okay? Right there, boom. You see that? He's yelling, move, or, something like shift, right? He is screaming really, really loud as the quarterback is giving dead counts. I don't know why it took so long for defenses to start countering to stuff like this on short yardage, where it's like, hey, look, if they're going to try to hard count us, let's do something to them to maybe inflict a penalty, because that's what the offense is trying to do right here, trying to convert a 3rd and 2 into an easy first down. Well, why not force them from a 3rd and 2 into a 3rd and 7 by doing something as simple as just shifting our defensive line? This kind of coaching adjustment, these little minor details, is why no matter all of the points of concern that I have or that I point out, I know they're going to survive. Trust me, guys, I wouldn't spend as much time watching this tape if I didn't believe in the coaching staff that you guys have to cheer for, right? I enjoy watching this much tape because I always learn something about the game of football through these guys, through watching these guys and their schematics on this football team, offensively and defensively. I've been thoroughly impressed from watching tape from this coaching staff since the beginning of doing it. That's why I get so heated up, or not heated up, but I get so frustrated when people are talking about, oh, is this Kirby's leash? No, Kirby's one of the best football coaches in America, and stuff like this is why. Boom. Yeah, easy 5 yards. 3rd and 2 turns 3rd and 7. The very next play, I believe Georgia gets off the field. Let's watch it. I believe. Don't quote me. Don't quote me on that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I think I had this one. If I didn't, it meant to be in the notes. Okay, in our bag, right? We're in our bag. How are we in our bag to this time, Brooks? Okay, look. We got our star defender. We got another corner, 3, 4, 5 DBs. Looks like your standard nickel defense, right? Oh, Latavius is in at the star, 100%. Until you look right here.
Got another super chat.
And we got number 19 right here in the box. What you got on the super chat?
It's just one from Jeremiah Stoddard, just $10. No comment.
My boy Jeremiah Stoddard throwing a super chat to the fam. We appreciate you, brother. Stoddard's been, I think Jeremiah was our very first subscriber on Patreon.
It's been in the Discord forever.
That's a real true OG. When we're talking OGs of OGs, that guy right there, Jeremiah Stoddard. Appreciate you, brother, and shout out to you. Just spent a whole month's subscription on the YouTube PayPal or on the YouTube Super Chat. That's dope. That's dope. All right, but back to what we're talking about here. They're doing it all, right? They're playing nickel. They're playing Adam Anderson in the box early in the game, right? We showed you. They ran nickel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this, the last time we showed you the same clip, that was number 7. That was Tyreek Stevenson in the box. Now you come out just a few plays later, okay? Maybe a possession or two later, and it's Adam Anderson playing that role. Adam Anderson's even playing star for us. Adam Anderson's been playing star for you. Quit trying to flex. You feel me? Quit trying to flex. He's been playing star for you. Going to 18:35. We are almost done for the night, I believe. Got about 6 more clips for you, and then we'll be out of here. Here we go. What do we got here? Hey, I've been telling you for a long time, guys, if we're going to ask our linebackers to play in coverage, they better make a play.
Jeremiah says that Super Chat's comment was supposed to be that's for a free month of Patreon for somebody.
Oh, it's for a free month of Patreon for somebody. So we have a free month. So if you want to get in on Patreon, let me know. My boy Jeremiah Stoddard just contributed. We got you picked up. The community picking up the community. Appreciate you guys. Back to the film study. This is a standard Georgia maneuver right here. When you see 3-by-1 and you see these corners and defensive backs stacked in a line like this against 1, 2, and 3, That is their base alignment out of nickel defense against 3-by-1. I will tell you, 11 personnel, 3-by-1 is the number one formation ran in college football nowadays. Okay? 11 player personnel. Let's give a test like we're on Dora the Explorer right now. What does 11 personnel stand for? That's right. One back, one tight end. That's right. We got one back, one tight end on the field for Cincy, and every time this has ever happened over the last 2 years, Georgia's countered with nickel. They've countered with nickel defense. This year, is it going to be the same? I would assume so. Okay? But instead of this being, somebody like Adam Anderson or whatever, or Nakobe Dean, it's Quay Walker in this instance. Okay? And he's going to be tasked, basically, with guarding this speed out. And guys, I'm waiting. I am waiting for a linebacker to make this play. I am waiting for this ball to be thrown from the right hash to this speed out, and this guy with his eyes on the daggum ball to intercept that football. I am waiting. I am waiting. And when it happens, I'm going to go absolutely ballistic on my timeline. But I'll teach you a little game right here, okay? I'll put you on some game. This ain't my game either. This is Oliver Davis's game. Okay, look, you got to your drop. That's fine. Okay, you are responsible, Quay, for what appears to be just this zone. But once you get to your zone, your responsibilities are not over, right? We still got to become a football player. Now, instead of keeping your eyes on the quarterback, turn, run to the spot, and then get your eyes around. Because when we get our eyes around too early in the drop, and then we have to turn back and get our eyes on the ball, or get our eyes back on where the wideout is, we've now lost the ball, okay? It's got to be eyes on the drop first. You know where the ball is, it's behind you. Eyes on the drop first, then eyes back around once you get to the drop. And then let's make a play on the football. Okay? A little Oliver Davis trick right there. One of the best doing it, guys. Y'all going to hear that name from me for a long time. That guy is the plug when it comes to defensive back play. What we got here? Again, nickel defense with 2 outside backers in red zone. How about this? Okay? We got 1. We got 2. We got 3, 4, and 5. Mr. Bernie on the field. We got 5 DBs and number 19 as an outside backer. And where's he at? I think this is Aziz right here, number 13, about to get set. 2 outside backers and nickel defense. So they can do it. Now, what's going to happen this year, right? Got 19 on the field. Are they going to replace Aziz with number 44? Or are they going to do it with number 4? Are they actually going to play 2 outside backers? Or are they going to plug in a defensive end, in that case, Trayvon Walker, for that play? I think they're going to do a balance of both. In the red zone like this, out of 11 personnel with a running threat from Cincinnati, I would imagine they put Trayvon Walker's butt over here instead of maybe a little light in the pants, Nolan Smith. Okay? Just going to drop Adam. I like him as a dropper. I don't think he's that compromised out here. I think he's relatively comfortable. As comfortable as you can be. Okay, 2 more clips. Oh, I'm drawing, and I need to be clicking. We're going to 21, 26. I think we're already there. It's good, what we call a quick click here from Bernie, sniffing this screen out, okay? This is all film study, guys. All film study. When they motion, one of these, I can't remember if they send him or they send him. They're going to motion a back out of the backfield, and immediately what you're going to see Bernie do is respond to motion with motion of his own. He's going to respond to the stem with outside leverage of his own. Watch. They're going to send the motion, and here goes Bernie. Now Bernie's going to sneak out over here, and as soon as the ball snaps, by God, he's going to fire. Okay? He's going to fire right into that alleyway, and he's going to shut this play down. And I promise you, it's either been coached up like this all week. They've told him, hey, look, if they get in 2x2, right? If they get in 2 back personnel, they got 21 personnel on the field. and they run outside jet motion like this, key screen, okay? Key screen right now. And that's exactly what happens. He sucks down and then fires and makes a TFL. So just some good coaching point right there. I think what Georgia does next year is they come out and they hope every football team they play lives, and I mean lives, in 12 personnel. If I'm a Georgia fan, that's what I would want to see. Is I'm coming to the park every day, I'm like, please, for the love of God, play 11 personnel. Please, please, please. Or excuse me, 12 personnel. Allow us to play 2 DBs on the field and not have to worry about, or four DBs on the field and not have to worry about it. All right. So here is the MO for Georgia in 2021. If they want to win, this is how it's done, okay? They've got 2 outside backers on the field. I believe that's Adam Anderson, and that's Nolan Smith, okay? Everyone on the camera angle right now is here except for these 2 corners. Everybody else still on the roster, okay? So this is a really, really good look at what it could look like next year. Now, Cincinnati is trying to dial up a shot. I can't remember if it's on the out and up from here or if it's on the out and up from here. Somebody is trying to run into this void right here. And by God, I'm going to tell you, he's wide open. Everybody watch the action play side. Do not watch interior play. Do not watch the offensive defensive line, okay? Boom, there it is. Hey, look, there's the daggum shot. And he is wide open, okay? They've ran the go ball off with Tyson Campbell, okay? They've ran the flat to occupy the curl flat defender. There is the shot. And he is open. He is 100% open. The coverage has been compromised. But guess what else has been compromised? The pocket. Why do I show you that? Well, I show you to tell you this. I don't care what you do next year, Georgia. I don't care if you play 4 DBs, 5 DBs, 6 DBs, 12 DBs. I don't care what you do. You better get after the quarterback, okay? Because even when you had what we think to be first-round draft pick, and even when you had, albeit a compromised corner, but a solid, hell bona fide star at the star position, even when you had him on the field, you were compromised schematically and in your passing game. But it didn't matter because you could get after the quarterback. You allowed your guys to rush past the spot, right? You allowed Jordan Davis to push the pocket. You allowed Devontae Wyatt to push the pocket. You allowed Noah Smith to bend the edge. You allowed it. And you got home and you protected what would, and he is trying to throw this ball right now. He sees it open it up. He is trying to throw this ball right now. He's got the ball in his hands. He's throwing it. But he's about to get pressure. Okay? That's the MO. The modus operandum for Georgia in 2021. Give me a closing scene, Dicko. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Man, what a great night for a really solid show. I had fun doing this. Again, it wasn't my original intentions. My original intentions were to come into this game, or coming into tonight's film study, were to show you Latavius Burnett. Well, as I was watching him, and maybe the plays that he won, or more so the plays that he wasn't in on, I got answers to questions that I had been asking myself. Hey, is Georgia ready to play 2 outside linebackers at once against standard personnel groupings? They did it. Are they ready to play 2 outside backers while also staying in nickel defense? They've already done it. Are they ready to play a majority of zone coverage because they don't have great DBs this coming up year, experienced great DBs? They've already done it, okay? Are they going to be able to unleash pass rushers and get upfield and get sacks? They've already done it. You follow me? That was the point of tonight's show. To not necessarily like ease your tensions about what's going on defensively, but it's more to show you that your coaching staff has been planning for the inevitable of maybe they didn't expect all 6 defensive backs to leave their roster, but they were ready to be barren, the cupboard to be barren in that back end defensively. Okay, and they played this football game against Cincinnati in the Peach Bowl as thus. This football game, as was titled in this YouTube show, this football game provided so many answers or potential answers defensively for Georgia than any other football game in 2020. It's the key, it's the blueprint for what they want to do this fall. And I think they did a really good job of it for some of the stuff that they don't do a ton of, right? They want to be a man-to-man nickel defense. They had to be a zone 3-4 traditional defense, and they will have to come in this fall. Appreciate you guys for being here. Before you leave, please like and subscribe. Hit that notifications button on YouTube. But I'm telling you, you are playing yourself if you are not in that Discord and in that Patreon group. So check out patreon.com/Brooks Austin. I know my boy Dicko has put it in the show notes. To the super chatters, my Putnam trucker, I forgot his name already, my trucking guy, and of course Jeremiah Stoddard. I appreciate you guys for throwing in a little love on the super chat tonight. Everybody else has been here tonight. Appreciate you for being here. If you're not, again, a Patreon subscriber, go hit that out. I'll see you later. I'm the film guy. We'll see y'all next week.